clay in that area. At one time, I think, Gene, you may have been involved with this at one time, there was a grant done for Severy Hill to rebuild the road. And we were allowed X number of dollars.
Some of Severy Hill, not the whole road.
Some of Severy Hill. Right. And I think that it was a FEMA grant, and they engineer it to be done in a specific way. Well, I think what we really hope that would be done is that it would be done in a way so that if it ever became possible that that road could be, you know, an asphalt surface on the road, that road would be prepped for that. And I think what happened is that whoever was in control at the time took that amount of money that was allotted and just went over the top of what was there, just to get more lineal footage on the road. So essentially, what was underneath is going to keep coming up, and that's what you got going on in that particular section down below Memphis. Because those 2 years we put, what, 600 yards from the cemetery down by Hiscock's house down there. To keep that, you know, so it wouldn't be as sloppy. But that's what happens. You know, I mean, when the frost comes out, you get a lot of that clay and whatnot. That's when it gets real soupy, like what happened there. And the time of the year, it's impossible. The only thing I can do is haul rocks up there, and, you know, tailings, and pour tailings in there so that cars can travel. Now that it's dried out, I want to dig them back out and do the road right, but it's going to cost $5,000–6,000.
You happy?
Yeah, I just,
okay.
There was questions I wanted to ask there. And did you, the tires for the loader that were replaced? I'm talking to Jamie the other day.
Yeah, I got a bill. I'm gonna turn it in.
Mm-hmm. Okay. As far as a core on them and such, as he can resell them?
He can sell the ones. What I'm gonna try to do, if this is what I'd like to do, I've got the price on the 2 tires, because I'm only gonna purchase 2 this year and then 2 next year. Mounted, the backs are calcium filled. So he priced that all up, calcium mounted in the tires, brand new tires, instead of recaps. They're double coin was the name brand.
Yep.
I couldn't afford Michelin's, or we couldn't afford Michelin's, so. So what I'll do is I'll purchase 2 tires right now, take the money out, and after July, I'll purchase 2 more. I'll run the tires out through the summer that are on it. He said he should be able to get me 100 to 200 per tire for the old ones. So they'll give me credit or whatever, however it's gonna work. So it should, they're expensive.
So that'll come off the price of the tire?
Yeah, that's what we're hoping, yeah.
Good. He was talking to me about it the other day, that's why I wanted to bring it up.
I think the 2 tires, those double coins, 2 tires, mounting the both of them, calcium filled is like $29.40.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Michelin's are like 1,800 or something.
Yep.
It's like, well, they should last a little while.
Mm-hmm. Jamie does good work. So.
Yeah, he does. I like him. He does good work.
I'm good.
Do we have a motion now? On the both the building and
just the public works.
Just public work. Okay, not the ground.
Well, got a couple things that got to come out of it. There's some of them, the sweep of the man lift thing, that could have been in the grounds one. What we were told, right?
Well, I came up with 6746 on the 110 tons of salt and 2250 on the man lift, which was 8996 is what I was going to suggest it was reduced by, but I don't know if you had another figure or
I don't know. I think we'll be short ourselves on the salt. I would want to maintain 750.
We can pretty much put whatever when we go in front of the people. They're going to vote on what they want to put out there anyway.
Right. Yeah.
But I actually added everything up, and I figured it was close to $10,000 off it, so off of what the budget was there. So
What was the minimum that you have to buy to get the Avco deal?
I'm not sure, Noreen, but,
Would that interfere with that?
I don't think there's a minimum, because I
I don't
know
think
that
there is.
below us, they only purchase 300 yards, 300 tons, and they get the AFCO deal, so.
yeah.
Plus, it's gonna be less money next year.
We had, this had always been budgeted for 750 tons. There was a couple of years in there that were probably good years. I called Ferg Lee from Avcog because I was trying to set up, what would be the most logical budgeting. How much should I budget? And he went back into our history, and historically, Dixfield always purchased 750 tons. So that's why I put it in there. And I don't know if the last couple of winters or 3 winters are going to be the norm or not. But it seems like we go out a lot, and we have a lot of these rain, snow events, black ice events, that sort of stuff. More so than what I would think we used to have. But I can't say that. I've been keeping records for the last 3 years. Again, this is my 4th winter. And according to Ferg, he told me that probably the best person that predicted what they needed was a fellow from Lewiston years ago, and he used to go on a 5-year average. Keep updating it. And I averaged what we've been, how many times we've been out for the last 3 years, what we average each time we go out, and I came up with just about 750 tons. Right on the nose, so
And that's what you're asking for.
yes.
So what I'm saying is there's 110 already that you're carrying over, and that.
Well, that's gonna be used in the sand.
The answer is yes and no to that, Howard. He has not, you're right, he's got about 105, 110 left in inventory.
Right.
But 70 to 80 of that is going to be used to treat sand. And that's what we did last year. So if that leaves him a carryover of around 30 tons of actual salt that he didn't use this year.
Yeah.
So 30 ton, it would be 30 times the 60 would be about $1,800 is the variance in the salt. And I think what Dave's saying for that 30 tons, it's close enough that we should maintain the 750. Because one more storm and he would have been right, that would have been it.
That was
One more
close.
big storm.
It was close.
It was close. It would have been right there.
I mean, we're lucky.
So you're right, yeah, there is, he didn't use the 105, but he's got a treat, so,
Yeah.
he's got to use 70 or 80 of that carryover.
So if he wants to maintain.
Hard, you need to.
So we have to,
We have an outside storage for our sand, so you treat it with 50 to 100 pounds per yard. Well, it's kind of hard to gauge that with a loader, so
Right.
I'd err on the high side. But if you don't pre-treat that, it's not workable. It'll just freeze up in clumps, and you can't use it. So that's why.
You also said we had 400 tons of sand left?
I think about 300 yards, roughly.
300 yards, sorry, yeah. So if you want to maintain 1,500 yards, then we only need 1,200 instead of 15.
Yeah, I guess, we can do that.
Where do we plan to put the man lift? Will it get,
I think it's a rental basis, Maureen.
I thought-
He rents it as he needs it.
where are we gonna put the budget for?
Oh, yeah, it's gonna be used both in public works and ground, so I don't know how you wanna split, if you wanna split that 2250 half and half,
Or
or,
remove it from one.
This is both,
Yeah.
both
We're
coming
at the
out
point
of.
of
Both
removing, but there's been nothing
It's in
said
both
about where
budgets?
he's gonna move it to.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, you,
is it in both, Art? I didn't, I thought that was just in one.
well, you weren't sure, you said you thought it was in ground, but then you were leaning towards.
I think we put it over in
No,
ground.
it's not
It's
in
just in
ground.
public works.
It's just in public, it's in one place.
Yeah.
But then
But
again,
it will be used for both
Gene, when
functions.
we were looking at this too, we were thinking about, we were gonna have to do some serious limbing, like on that Norton Road, Holman Road. The common road is bad, and that's what you're gonna need, is a man lift to do that. If we're gonna do it ourselves and not contract it out, you probably need something like that.
It'll be used in both budgets, it's just how you want to account for it. That's
Well, in grounds, you already have contracted services. Is anybody in that contracted services able to trim the trees?
Hold on, grounds, contracted services. My guess,
It says $23,000 in contracted
that
services.
is that's mowing only, if we bid out mowing. That's all that is. It has nothing to do with mowing.
That's with
If you
you,
contract
right?
it, yep.
If you bid it out and it comes in at that, it could come in a lot more, but that's the budget. That's the guess. And that's a choice you guys are gonna have to make tonight. That's what we gotta settle on grounds.
Yeah.
Which budget you want to adopt.
But if we contract out the mowing, then the public works doesn't need that much time, correct? If they're doing the mowing now, it's being billed through public works,
Yes.
that's 750 hours you considered you had that they won't need in that budget if we contract that out in grounds.
Well, what they'll be doing is other work other than mowing.
The RSU thing, I think we should address that because we're using our equipment and giving them the salt for cost. Is something that may need to be negotiated there to add a little bit to it, or however we gotta do it, because we are paying maintenance in the equipment that's loading their salt.
How much time is left on that contract?
On the RSU,
Is that a contract or just a verbal agreement?
that's just a verbal agreement that
Yeah.
I thought
You may wanna ask them something about that, because the tires and the fuel aren't
the
cheap.
contract is for the park. I guess.
Well, we could,
Right.
charge them a few extra bucks for the.
administrative fee,
Well, then he
like
won't
we
be
did
able,
for the gas.
then he won't be able to put it back into his budget though, because it'll be standing for money.
Mm.
Have to go to the general fund and then take it another direction. Because when we buy salt or the sand out of the pile, we're actually buying it, and that goes into the general fund.
You could vote to use the money to offset the costs, any administrative costs used, you could vote to use to offset costs in the public works department. So it nets out to zero. You know? So if you charge, $1 a ton, or I don't know what you charge for administrative fee, that's something you'd have to
Well,
think
I'd
about.
probably charge at least $2-3.
Yeah, and then you could say, okay, some of it will go against equipment maintenance, or
Yeah.
however you want to
I'd just like
split
to
that
see
up.
us getting
Yeah.
something for the equipment anyway, because we're footing the bill for it, so.
I agree.
Even if their manpower is loading it, right, and they have somebody load the things?
They will, yeah.
You got two pockets, so.
Half your taxes go there.
You gotta figure them out.
Take the call. Get into that.
So are you gonna split it, or are you gonna take it out of one and put it in the other, or are you just gonna leave it where it is?
I'd leave it in public works, since if it's not in grounds anyway, correct?
It's not in grounds, it only shows up in.
I just,
works.
I was confused thinking it was in, that we've gotten stuck in there, so. That's why I said, remove it from one or the other, but,
But like, if we put it over there, it's still gonna come out of something else,
right.
so.
That's why I said leave it in public works.
Just be aware that we will use it to put up flags, which is a grounds
Right,
kind of function.
right.
It'll come out of the public
Yeah,
works
yeah.
budget.
You ready for a motion?
Well, honestly, with what I put down there, I think 5 even would be where I'd vote on it for the moment. It's 509, it's a public works budget total, 509,867. But that's with revenues and everything else in it, right?